Here now is Lisa Bell and Candace Campos with Florida Foodie.
Hello and welcome back to Florida Foodie. I'm Candace Campos.
And I'm Lisa Bell. A small act of appreciation can lead to some big things. For today's guest, a Christmas gift ended up changing the course of her life. She received a popcorn maker from a now former boss, and that ended up being the start of a new business.
So we are so happy to be joined by Chauniqua Major Lewis, who now goes by the name Major, the owner and founder of Major's Project Pop.
Hi,
Yay!
everyone. It's so nice
Thank
to
you
hear
so
from
much
you.
for joining us.
Thanks for having me. When you were introducing me, I was like, wait, whose story is that? And I always forget like the really infancy stages of how this whole thing happened. So thank you for that reminder.
So
it was a
tell
great time.
us, this was just a few years ago. You seriously got a popcorn maker from your boss.
I did. So back in the day, I don't know if you all remember, there was this brand called Sea Wonder. They were really big. They had shops in the mall, and it was like I think it was just like a fashion retailer, and they were selling an air popper for Christmas, and she thought it was so cute, and I loved the brand, so she bought it from me. And I thought it might be really cool to make popcorn every day for my colleagues and use different flavors and ingredients and just create things during our break just for morale. I was a leader in the office, so I was always looking for ways to keep them energized, fed, and productive. So I made popcorn, and the story has just grown tremendously since that day.
That's awesome.
And did you ever start thinking like, oh, this could actually be a business?
No.
I mean, what made you really start putting different flavors together?
Yes. So I'll make a really long story very short. I went down to South Beach Wine and Food Festival, which occurs in Miami, and I was doing a limbo contest. And I won the limbo contest, and I won a $50 or $75 gift card to Williams-Sonoma. And I wanted to step my popcorn game up. So I bought a Whirly Pop and thought, let me take it to another level with this popcorn. And at that time, I started having very faint ideas about what I could do. And the popcorn business that I dreamt up is actually totally different from what I do now. I'm not going to talk about it because I might actually do it one day. But a couple of months later, there was a foodpreneur series at East End Market. When I first thought of going, I had an idea to open up a juice company with a friend. Well, between the first class and the second class, it was a 3-part series, she dropped out, and I thought, well, if she's gone, I can go forward with this popcorn idea that I've been thinking about.
Sure.
So within just a couple of weeks, I created a logo. I worked with my colleague on some packaging for the popcorn, and I made a website, and we've just been rocking ever since.
You really have been rocking. And one of the things about your popcorn, it's organic, non-GMO, and vegan. And I was thinking to myself, I thought popcorn was vegan already.
Same.
No, well, so popcorn by itself is vegan. What you put on it is what makes it not vegan. So a big part of Major's Project Pop is food education and advocacy, and we try to do that in a really approachable way. So I've been vegan for about 5 years now, but when I first came up with this idea, I was not. So I don't know why I had the foresight to just make it vegan at the time, but I did. And what I really want people to do is when they look at the back of the label and if they enjoy the popcorn, they're wondering, what is this that I like? What is that flavor? What am I tasting? They can look at the back of the bags like you all have and see that there are very few ingredients. We tend to have maybe 5 or 6 ingredients or less in every bag, and they're all very easy to read and approachable and things you can recognize. And the thought is, if you really like the taste of that organic unrefined coconut oil, you might go buy it at the grocery store instead of maybe canola oil, which you always use. Or you might sub out your normal table salt and get Himalayan pink salt, which actually has 87 trace minerals that your body needs to function every day. So it's just those little ways of educating and advocating for people to eat differently and a little bit better, but doing it through a really tasty product.
And I understand your nieces were part of your inspiration for that clean
I love
eating.
them. Yes. So my thought with anything is if it's good enough for them, and now I have nephews, so I have to include them because I think they feel left out. Anything that's good enough for them, it's good enough for anyone else. And I used to be the aunt, they call me TT, that would walk around with yellow grape tomatoes in my bag and all of these snacks that they would refer to as TT snacks that were really healthy. And I wanted to create something that they could enjoy and feel that it was good, like it tastes good to them, but it wasn't jam-packed with preservatives and ingredients that I wouldn't even eat myself. So they're like my litmus test. Like if I won't give it to them, I won't serve it or put it in our products.
That's a great idea. Yeah. I mean, and if you think about it, when you serve it to kids, you get the real deal. They like it or they don't. There's no cookie cutter.
Absolutely. It's so funny when we do markets. Kids are like my biggest advocates. So when I see them, when we make eye contact and they see popcorn, I know that they're headed over and they're going to taste it. And it's great. I get some honest feedback. Some kids I'm realizing like don't like sugar. So when they taste it, they might not love it too much. Other kids, I've like given them 8 or 9 samples at one event because they just keep coming back.
They're like, I'm not quite sure. I think I need to sample that again.
But I look at them in the same eyes that I see like my nieces and nephews, and I just want them to enjoy it and have a good time with the food. So I just give it to them,
So you started this back in 2014. I just want to give people some perspective to see how much success you've had. You have been everywhere. You've been in magazines. You've had deals with Netflix. Tell us about some of your successes.
Oh my gosh, it's been crazy. So as I was mentioning to you before we started, I recently left a full-time position, a leadership role at a PR firm in town to start my own shop. So I do PR and I do popcorn. And all the years before actually leaving my job, popcorn always took a back seat to the work that I was doing because I always will honor the work that I do. So if someone's paying me to work, I'm going to, do a great job and make that my priority. So I never really put a lot of effort and energy around the brand because I knew once I did, at least in my mind, I thought that things would take off and I wouldn't be able to handle it. So I had a couple of really great media mentions and some opportunities over the years. But in 2020, during the pandemic, with the heightened awareness about systemic issues as it relates to Black and Brown people in the United States and the deaths, unfortunately, that we saw all over the news, so many people were trying to figure out where is our company, where do we stand on these issues, and how can we be better? So out of that, I started to get a lot of media coverage. And one day I got an email from a vegan news outlet, and they asked, could they feature me in a story? And I said, sure, okay. I honestly hadn't heard of them before. And they ran the story, and I didn't know that it ran. And all of a sudden, I just started getting all these dings, ding, 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 ding. And they were orders. I got 1,000 orders in a day.
Wow.
And they were from all over the country. I mean, I was not ready for that. I didn't have a label printer to write out all that, for the address. I was writing out addresses into the wee hours of the night. I mean, it was if I wasn't ready, I had to be ready at that moment to quickly scale the business and get it together. So from that, I'm so honored and blessed. It led to 1,000 more opportunities. I've worked with Lionsgate on various films for them. I have a standing partnership with Netflix. I've gotten emails from Oprah's team and Shark Tank and been featured in Forbes. And it's just sometimes I don't believe that all this is happening. And my husband, he also has to advocate for me all the time to say, Major, sit back and enjoy this, because I, of course, sometimes will visualize it through the realms of oh, this is work I have to do. Mm-hmm. But he just reminds me this is not common. This is not what happens for a lot of people. So just try to enjoy it. So I think I'm a really selfless person. So I'm really not thinking about what it means for me. I'm just so grateful that I get all these touch points and areas to introduce people to the brand, be a role model for people who are younger than me, whether they look like me or they have the same skin type as me, to show them that you can live out your dreams, you can create something and then actually take it to market and people will buy what you sell. Yeah. So it's just been, I don't even know. I always just say it feels literally like this is not my life. And I think that's the best thing for me to keep me sane.
Florida Foodie will be back in a moment with Major's Project Pop and the story of how she discovered the meaning behind her business.
For the longest time, I wanted to change the name of the brand because I thought, what is a Project Pop? What does that even mean? I just created it one day, just I needed to come up with a name, so I invented that. I didn't realize that POP was an acronym.
Plus, we get a taste of Major's fancy flavors, including her 24-karat gold kettle corn. That's all ahead on Florida Foodie. Grab a snack and get ready for more Florida Foodie with guest Chauniqua Major. She's the self-proclaimed snack dealer who left her job in public relations to launch her own business called Major's Project Pop.
I used to be the aunt, they call me TT, that would walk around with like yellow grape tomatoes in my bag and like all of these snacks that they would refer to as TT snacks that were like really healthy. And I wanted to create something that they could enjoy, but it wasn't jam-packed with preservatives and ingredients that I wouldn't even eat myself.
And she takes the same approach with her organic vegan kettle corn. So let's jump right back in.
So you have a couple of flavors now. We have some.
Yeah.
I actually received some for Christmas, and it's the
Yeah.
peppermint, and it's delicious. And our producer brought in some as well. This is just a kettle popcorn. How many flavors do you have?
So that's a good question. So standing flavors that are always available is our OG kettle, which is that craft bag that you have. Then we do that same popcorn. It's our OG flavor. That's what we call it. We do it in a black bag, which looks really cool and sleek. And then we have a 24-karat gold. So it's that same popcorn, but we sprinkle on 24-karat gold edible flakes. And that's good for if you're fancy or if you're looking to gift someone for like Valentine's Day or an anniversary. It's just an awesome, like, premium gift to give someone. And then we have seasonal flavors. So you all have the peppermint. And then we have a lemonade, which is seasonal for the summer. We rolled out a pumpkin spice last year, which was out of this world good and very Florida-esque flavor. So
that's a
you
tease.
can probably guess.
That's a
Maybe
good
key lime or citrus.
Maybe
I don't know.
Orange.
Hopefully it's not gator.
Oh, God. No, thank you.
Right? Yeah.
So, I mean,
No.
there's probably a lot of entrepreneurs trying to do something like you. Where did you start when it came to the marketing? So you had your own popcorn maker. Did you start at pop-up shops? No pun intended.
I did.
She did intend that.
We started at pop-up shops. So if you go back to that story when I was telling you about Easton Market, that 3-part series ended in a pop-up shop. And that's where we took our idea and it was our chance to share it with the world. So it was a pop-up shop. I gave everything away for free. People got to taste the product. And it was during that time where I was testing. I had all these other flavors back then, but the one that everybody loved is the OG flavor. So that's like my main seller, what everybody loves today. And it's like the base for everything that we create. But yeah, we started at pop-up shops. I still do pop-up shops today. We often pop up at Easton Market. I do things at Good Crowd Shop here in Orlando. I mean, so many places are doing pop-up shops. So I try to do as many as I can. But as you can imagine, I'm a one-person team. So it's a lot to do by myself. And then we sell, of course, online, which is where we get a lot of traffic as well. But pop-up shops are great. I know some Orlando businesses, they only sell at pop-ups and they do crazy numbers. I went to a pop-up for a brand called Orlando. She actually just closed in Orlando and she's moving to Portland. But she had, I think it was like 700 plus people in a line. And like what I bought, it was like $20. So if you do 20, maybe $20 to $30 times 700, it kind of gives you an idea of, how fruitful a business can be if you have a great product, if you work with integrity, you support our local economy and show up. People, if you have a good product, people are going to buy from you.
Yeah. And we understand POP actually stands for something and you do give back to the community.
We do. So in 2020, I was so tired and I was just getting home from popping around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I had to get up and go do something. And this idea came to mind. And when I was thinking about POP, I don't know why, but like people over profit came to mind. And for the longest time, I wanted to change the name of the brand because I thought, what is a Project POP? Like, what does that even mean? Like, I just created it like one day, I needed to come up with a name. So I invented that. I didn't realize that POP was an acronym. So It means people over profits, but it also means purpose over profits. And what that looks like is we advocate for people before sales and money. And I actualize that in a couple of ways. The first one is we use very, very high quality ingredients that cost me a lot of money. I could probably make an equally tasty product for a lot less and charge the same amount so that I could profit more. Mm-hmm. Well, I take what is called this redemptive approach to entrepreneurship, which means I lose so that others win. And that means, well, I'm not going to make as much money, but you're going to get a quality product that's going to be better for you, that's going to taste great, that's not going to have a bunch of junk and ingredients that most people really don't want to eat. We just deal with it because it's in the things that we love most. And then on the second hand, I love to give back. So I'm always looking for local nonprofits, whether it's places like Ebony Nutrition and Westlakes, where they do food advocacy and education, teaching Black and brown people how to cook better, to organizations like way across the country that are advocating for farmers to make sure they can maintain their land when big corporations or things are coming in and buying up land. It's important that we advocate for them too. So it's twofold, but it has grounded me in times where people have approached me for opportunities. I've had to reflect and say, well, I'm the people in this case. So I need to rest, or if I am exhausted or tapped out, I can't put profits over myself and my sanity as a business owner. So sometimes I'll back out on opportunities or say I can't do it if it's not going to be fruitful for me as an individual. Yeah. So it's been a pretty good grounding point for me as a business owner.
Mm-hmm. And as we were saying earlier, sometimes things can become overwhelming, and you think about all the work and, everything that you are going to have to do to make all this happen. But then at the end of the day, when you are also helping so many people, it really is an inspiration.
It's great. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I always tell people, if you're going to get into business, just know it's not for the faint of heart. You're going to work a lot, but if you do it with the right intention.
You're frozen. Lisa is now eating out of my
Sorry, because you had
bowl.
A different flavor.
I don't know what happened.
Lisa's
You
eating out of
froze.
my...
But then I reached into her bowl because she had a different flavor.
She's eating my popcorn.
Sharing is caring, right? Sometimes.
Amen.
But people. Yes.
We were just going to say, where can you find your products?
Yes, so you can find us at all times, any hour of the day or night at eatprojectpop.com. And then we do pop-ups. So if you follow us on Instagram at eatprojectpop, I'll post on there about where we're popping up. And then I have local pickups. So if you're local to Central Florida and you don't want to pay for shipping and such, we have a local pickup option at Good Crowd Shop. So if you go to our website, you can click on the local pickup option and purchase from there.
Well, thank you so much for what you do, because that just means so much. Because when you think of business, it's just money, which you need money. I mean, you are running a business.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's so great to see someone who cares so much about their customers. And that's,
and cares about popcorn. It's delicious.
I do. I call my customers my snackers. So they're my people.
That's right.
They have supported me so much over these years, and I would not be where I am without them, without their prayers. I mean, I have customers when they purchase popcorn, you can leave a note. I mean, I've cried at night with some of the notes that people have left me. They're like, keep going, girl. We love your popcorn. Or, I see what you're doing. I believe in you. It's those things that keep me going when I'm feeling like, I don't know if I should still keep doing this. Mm-hmm. Right. It just reminds me that there are people outside of my four walls and the people that I see that really do enjoy it. And I hope, are impacted by the work that I'm doing here in Orlando.
Well, we love it. And we wish you all the best success. And we're looking forward to that Florida flavor.
Yes, I will let you all know.
Okay.
So I'll keep you posted about it.
Sounds good. Thank you, Major.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
And thank you for watching Florida Foodie. There is a long list of episodes ready to watch right now on News 6 Plus. Just download the app for your smart TV and discover the stories behind the best local eats and treats.